It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero Wars Central, and in today's video, I want to talk about the Facebook web Hero of the Month, Nebula. It was announced on Thursday's live stream that Nebula will be the Hero of the Month for the Facebook and web platforms. And no, we don't know quite yet what the mobile version is, but just as a quick reminder, the Hero of the Month is that hero whose soul stones you can collect in the daily bonus tab. This month it was Yasmin. Like I said, next month it's going to be Nebula. So in honor of that, I thought that I would show you 3 fun and different teams that you might not be thinking of, just to kind of change things up a little bit. These considered off meta, I don't think so. They clearly have their strengths and effectiveness, but we're going to run them up against a couple of the quote-unquote meta teams and see how they fare. Of course, they're all going to showcase our girl Nebula. Now, arguments can be made that Nebula is probably one of the best heroes in the game, if not the best hero in the game. She fits into just about every single team, and you definitely want to build a team around her due to her unique positioning requirements. So first of all, let's take a look at a pretty standard Twins team. I know I've got Ziri here and Lars unprotected in the back, but let's talk about a Ju team. Now, before I go any further, let's talk about the fact that this is going to work on Facebook, but not on mobile. And before all you mobile players just shut this video off, I do apologize. You can learn something from this. However, the positioning of Sebastian and Nebula has been switched on mobile, and teams like this don't work like they should anymore. The issue with the positioning is kind of a wonky one, but this team right here, this one does work on mobile. And the reason for it is because Nebula needs to be in the back. And if Nebula is in the back, you can't have a healer in the back. And so who is a healer that doesn't sit in the back? Marcus. So this team is brought to us by Arcana Gaming, and he was looking for a team to use with Luther and Ju on Corvus teams. He was trying to experiment a little bit, trying to figure out how to maximize damage. But he ran into the same issue that I just mentioned, that the Nebula and Sebastian had been flip-flopped. Their positioning had been flip-flopped on mobile. And because of that position fix, you need to have Nebula in the back in order for her to land on your big hitter, as long as they're in the midline. And, different positioning is going to matter for different teams. But he came from this team, he came up with this team, and I find this team to be very interesting. It's a different take on a Ju team, and I don't showcase Ju teams that often, so let's try it out. Now, I'm going up against the classic, Twins, Jorgen, Celeste team. It is worth mentioning that this team will have no chance, or less of a chance, against those Twins teams that uses Martha in the back. But the idea of it is Nebula, because of her strange positioning, is going to bounce the ball between Ju and Sebastian up here in the top left. And you'd think that it would land on Marcus, but it actually doesn't. It actually doesn't. So Ju, being the big-time damage dealer that he is, he does massive damage he did one big hit to Lars there in the back, another big hit, and there goes Luther back to the back to clean it up. Luther forces Krista to turn and put the marks of ice on the ground, and Luther just kind of helps Ju attack the rearmost enemy, and you can see the Twins team is cleaned up from behind. Like I said, this is going to have a really hard time. I don't know if they're going to have actually enough damage to clean up Ziri here. 20 seconds? Yeah, we're fine. So against a Martha team, we might have a much more difficult situation, and we'll test that out with Satori here in just a second. Let's test it against my Bob team here, the Kark Nebula Faceless version. And I did not want to do Kark Nebula Faceless because it's so cliche and everyone uses it. So I don't want to do this versus everyone, but this isn't going to be the best team in the world. It's going to have strengths and weaknesses just like anything else. But you can see against a Martha in the back, Ju's effectiveness is going to be a lot less. It's just going to be a lot less overall. Cannot quite break through Martha's armor. And I wanted to showcase this fight just to show you how this team can be beat pretty easily by, just using Martha or a strong damage dealer in the back. pretty interesting stuff there. So the next fight that I wanted to show you is a Kark variant using Nebula, but a little different. So we're going to stick with Astaroth, Nebula, and Kark. Now, often this is the start of a beautiful Kark team. You throw Faceless and Martha in the back. You throw Faceless and Helios. You throw Faceless and Kai. Some kind of setup like this. But there was a very short discussion yesterday during my in my mobile lineup tactics Discord channel about the use of Jet in Kark teams. Now, I do want to state that this one does not work at all on mobile anymore. This one absolutely does not work on mobile because of the Sebastian Nebula swap. Imagine Nebula being behind Sebastian and buffing Jet and Sebastian instead of buffing Kark. So this really only works on Facebook. However, Mini Dragbike showed a screenshot of a Kark doing massive crit damage, and that's really the point. You have your Jet and your Sebastian supporting your Kark. You get your Nebula's buff to land on Kark, and it does massive damage if Kark will crit, plus all that pure damage on top of it with Sebastian. Now, it's worth mentioning that this is a quote-unquote more consistent version of Kark because of how inconsistent and how random Faceless is. However, the strengths and weaknesses of this team rely heavily on the fact that you really need Kark to crit. Otherwise you should have just used Faceless instead. So let's try this out. The reason why I want to showcase this fight is I was actually able to beat a Kira team with this version of Kark, which is kind of mind-blowing because usually Kira is a hard counter to Kark. But let's keep this rolling, and you can see now that Kark's got the buff up. He just did 69,000. He did. See, look at that. That was amazing. It just went too fast. Almost 4 million damage. Almost 4 million. I want to watch it again. And I want to see how much damage that Kark crit did. So Sebastian's ultimate goes off. And again, Kark teams have a hard time beating Kira teams. Oh, let's speed it up just a little bit more. So watch Kark do like 400,000 damage to Kira. Almost 600,000 damage here. Or 500,000 damage. 400k. Just massive damage output. Fantastic amount of damage. Just a fantastic amount of damage. Let's try that team with... against the Classic Twins team. And I got to be honest with you, having Faceless freed up on this team, having Faceless freed up allows me to have this as my team one and moving my Faceless to my Aurora team, which I'll showcase a little bit next. That'll be the third team that I show you. So let's fight this Twins team. This right here, while it's effective against a lot of Kira teams and a lot of other variants, I did notice that this version had some problems with Twins teams. Excuse me. Even with the power of Sebastian blocking the watermarks from the Twins, I noticed that this team had a lot of trouble defeating some Twins teams. So we're about to see Kark's ultimate go off. Let's see if the ball will land on... So Kark's got the ball. He ults. No crits, but he almost kills Celeste. See, I feel like Kark has to crit there. He has to crit there. Okay, there went Lars. Let's slow this down. Let's see how big this crit is. It's going to hit Celeste and Jorgen and Krista. Krista takes not... Oh, wow, look at that. Look at that. That's the biggest crit I think I've ever seen. Wow. That was awesome. I'm going to screenshot that and make it the thumbnail, I think. Crazy. Okay. All right. I want to thank Mini Dragbike for showing me that big damage screenshot. That was fantastic. And just for fun, let's show it against the Classic Satori team. I love this. I just got my Jet to Absolute Star yesterday. On this account, so I'm pretty pumped about it. It's a Kark team that you don't see. Let's see how well it does. See, Kark's basic attacks are doing crits and dealing pure damage. Killing Satori, killing oh wow, look at that. Wow. I did over 1 million damage there. Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to screenshot those. Those are fantastic. That was just fantastic. Okay, all right. So now the third team. This team is brought to us from Mira, and Mira Kuntz is somebody who's referred me to the dodge, the crazy dodge energy mechanic. This team works less effective on mobile because of the dodge energy changes, but it's still very, very strong. So the idea behind it is, let's see, where's my Lian? Here we go. So the idea behind it is you use Nebula to have Celeste be heavy damage, A lot of the times you could swap Nebula out for Jorgen, you could swap Nebula out for Sebastian, for any other support. But this is a really fun team. It's a little slower as far as damage output, but if you can get Nebula's ball to land on Celeste when she ults, the amount of damage that she's going to block, the amount of healing that she's going to block, and the amount of damage that she does whenever she goes into her dark form is pretty insane. So this is another fun team that you can build. This one's going to be a little easier to build aside from the addition of Celeste. Very strong against area of effect teams with Lian. People sleep on Lian. And there you have it. The power of Aurora with dodge probably is actually the reason why that won. Let's fight a Kira team with it. So we have Aurora, Nebula, Faceless, Lian, and Celeste. Let's fight one more. So again, I just wanted to kind of showcase these, a couple of different types of Nebula teams. You can really plug in. Oh, lost immediately to Kira. You can plug Nebula into just about any team. You really can. You want to make sure that her buffs land on your primary damage dealer, and it's this equilibrium buff. And if it doesn't, maybe it's not the best. Maybe it's not the best for your team. I know in a lot of teams, Nebula a hero will push Nebula away from your main damage dealer, so you want to be careful of those. But yeah, Nebula is going to be a great hero to have. She's one of the best, if not the best, heroes in all of Hero Wars due to her flexibility and how she allows you to fight higher than you really should be doing. But let me know in the comment section down below what teams you like to use Nebula in. We can chat a little bit more on our Discord. I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.